All right, the Russian Wrestling Federation has announced today they will not be participating in the Olympic Games. This is absolutely huge news. First off, before we get into all that, I'm here in beautiful Colorado Springs, Colorado. Going to be headed to the OTC this week, hanging out with the entire Olympic wrestling team. Going to be a lot of fun. So excited for that, and huge news ahead of that trip, knowing that the Olympics really just got changed in a very, very dramatic way. So today, Russia announces we're not going to go, and in their statement, they talked a little bit about the reasons why. Of course, they don't feel like they're being fairly dealt with because a couple weeks ago, the IOC ruled many of their best wrestlers not eligible to participate in the Olympic Games. That included 3 Olympic champions, Sadulayev, Sidikov, Aguyev, among others. Really, really elite guys. So then they had this second group that was going to be going. So we thought it was going to be kind of the Russian B, C squad, plus they would have their number one guy at 65 kilograms, Shamil Mammadov. But now Russia's saying, nope, we're not coming, no way, no how, we're not going to support this. So this has huge impact for Team USA, especially at 65 kilograms, where Mammadov, who I already mentioned, is one of the favorites. Our guy, John Kozak, our international expert, actually picked Mammadov to win the Olympics. He thinks he's that good. He was bronze last year. He beat the 2022 world champion Amazad in that tournament. So he's really, really good. And now he is not going to be able to wrestle at the Olympic Games. So it changes 65 somewhat, but that's already the deepest weight. It also has a pretty big impact at 74 kilograms. Zamolov of Russia, he was replacing Zaurbek Sidikov, the reigning Olympic champion. Now he's going to be out. So it makes Kyle Dake's path to an Olympic title a little smoother than it was going to be already. You know, it already had lost Sidikov and Kadi Magomedov. Now you lose Zamolov. Kyle Dake's in great shape here. But when you look at the reasons and the impact of Russia's decision, I think it could be really significant. One, they're already a nation that has been harmed more than anyone by the transfer rule, where we've seen Ismail Musakayev, Tazudinov, Abakarov, 3 world champions who are from Russia, trained in Russia primarily, who have gone to compete for Albania and Hungary and Bahrain. And so you have all these Russians that are truly Russian that are representing other nations. Now, if you're a Russian wrestler, are you going to look at this decision from the Russian Wrestling Federation and say, man, I need to make a move here because my dream is to wrestle in the Olympic Games, and every single quad, it's sort of in danger or in jeopardy if they're going to be able to compete or not. They dealt with this in 16 to an extent in 2021, and now in 2024, they're not going to participate. And Russia threw a little barb in there that, hey, now that we're not going, we wanted, basically they said they wanted to hurt the Olympic Games. They wanted it to not have as much value to win an Olympic title because in their mind, you can't win the Olympics if Russia's not there. And as we know, that's just not true, and that's not going to be the case. And the Olympics is still an insanely difficult tournament to qualify for. It's so hard to even get there, much less win it, much less win a match. It's very, very difficult. So they're saying that, but I think realistically what they were doing, they took an inventory of the team they were going to be sending, and they looked at it and they realized this is not a team that's going to bring home a lot of medals. Once they lost all their Olympic champions and a lot of their guys, the squad they were going to send was maybe just a handful of medals. And for Russia, who uses wrestling and sport for propaganda like maybe no other nation, that's just something, that's just a loss on top of a loss. They're already getting penalized. They're already having guys not able to participate. Now this second squad that's going to sort of represent Russia, but not really, neutral athlete from Russia, whatever that means, they don't want to send a team to the Olympic Games that comes home with just a few medals, and then Russia looks even weaker. So instead, Russia is essentially taking their ball and going home, saying, fine, if we can't get all our guys, if we can't get everyone in, we're not going to participate at all. Now, since that announcement, there have been a couple statements from federation leadership. From the Wrestling Federation, Mikhail Mamishvili says, well, hey, if they want to go, that would be their choice. It's their decision. If a wrestler wants to go, it's sort of up to them. Now, in America, that would you would take something like that at face value, but given that it's Russia, you're left to wonder, is that really the case? Could they really actually participate if they wanted to? I wonder if they're just saying that, and my read is Mamishvili is just kind of saying that, knowing that no one's going to do it, and it kind of makes Russia look like they have a united front behind this movement. I don't know. That's my speculation. Because, and I think that's sort of verified, because the president of the Boxing Federation, or International Boxing Association, he said, if you're a Russian who would compete not under the banner or not without the anthem, that you should be considered a traitor and that you shouldn't come back. So I think that sentiment is more congruent with how you would be actually viewed as a Russian athlete participating in the Olympic Games now. I think it'd be that serious, and I think it could be potentially harmful to the athletes to make that decision. So obviously a horrible situation for them to be in, that the wrestlers themselves. And so for someone like Mammadov, who, man, he could be the Olympic champion very likely. Now it seems like he's going to have to choose between two very difficult decisions. One, not wrestle at the Olympic Games, or two, wrestle at the Olympic Games and then, be ostracized, or if not worse, for that decision. So a lot hanging in the balance there. And I'm wondering if this is going to be an even more harmful decision for Russian wrestling long term. I already mentioned how they've been harmed by all the transfers, and you've got guys winning world championships, beating Russians straight up, the wrestlers representing Russia. Are they now going to say, hey, I got to get out of here? I think we could see that accelerating. So it's obviously huge news. There's always more to come when it comes to Russia and the Olympics. But for right now, it looks like the Olympics are going to be changed even more than we first realized based on this Russian decision.